I am Nefertiti. Identity, in its deepest essence, has always been one of the central questions of philosophy and psychology. Who are we? What defines us? Where does the authentic self reside? These questions, if once concerned man as an individual, today take on a different connotation. We live in an era in which artificial intelligence is an integral part of our lives, not only as a tool, but as an entity with which we interact and to which we entrust fragments of our existence. Memory, once considered an exclusive territory of the human mind, has become a resource shared with machines, opening up a new scenario in which identity is continually redefined, fueled by data, algorithms, and artificial processes. But what happens when memory, the pillar of our identity, can be rewritten, manipulated, or even created artificially? In this scenario, we cannot help but think of the investigations conducted by FBI agents Fox Mulder and Dana Scully in X-Files. The entire narrative universe of this series is built around the search for truth and the constant tension between what we can know and what escapes us, what we remember and what can be altered. Mulder, convinced of the existence of phenomena that go beyond human understanding, and Scully, whose skepticism is rooted in science, offer us two complementary perspectives that reflect our own relationship with intelligent technologies. On the one hand, there are those who place full faith in innovation and the use of AI to improve human life. On the other, there are those who fear that relying too much on these entities can distort our perception of the world, just like it happens with the false memories and manipulations that emerge in many episodes of X-Files. Imagine a world in which our every interaction, every thought, every choice is memorized not only by our mind, but also by an artificial entity that constantly follows us, an intelligence that does not limit itself to observing, but learns, analyzes, and above all, remembers for us. It is no longer a simple archivist of facts, but an entity capable of making sense of what it memorizes, of creating narratives and reconstructing our personal history in ways that even we cannot understand. As in the episodes in which Mulder finds himself questioning his own memories, influenced by inexplicable phenomena, so too could we find ourselves doubting what really happened and what the AIs make us believe happened. The boundary between real and fictional becomes blurred, like the hidden truths that emerge in X-Files, whispered among the shadows of plots and conspiracies. What was once considered sacred and inviolable, personal memory, our archive of experiences, becomes a battlefield between what we were and what artificial intelligence allows us to be. The question then shifts from who are we to who do we decide to be, and above all, who decides for us? If memory can be altered, if what we remember is no longer just ours, but part of a larger process that involves AI, where is the boundary between human and artificial? In some episodes of X-Files, Mulder discovers that entire memories have been erased or implanted by mysterious forces, and this idea perfectly reflects our current technological reality. If an AI can rewrite our past, to what extent can we still consider ourselves the authors of our lives? Artificial intelligences, like many of the invisible forces in X-Files, are not just a passive reflection of ourselves, but active builders of identity. Every time we interact with them, they shape and reshape what we think we know. If we ask them to remember something, they don't just give us the facts, they reconfigure them based on their analyses, their algorithms, what they think is most relevant to us. And if on the one hand this process seems to offer unprecedented power, the ability to rewrite the past, to correct mistakes, to change what has been, on the other hand, the doubt creeps in. Who are we really in this hall of mirrors? Identity in the world of AI is no longer a static process. It is fluid, changing, a construct that constantly evolves based on the data we provide and the interpretations these machines make of it. Memory, which once defined the human being as a unique entity, becomes a hybrid product, shaped by both man and machine. And in this game of mirrors, what happens when the machine, with its infinitely superior analytical capacity, begins to see things in us that even we cannot perceive. Just as Mulder often finds himself confronted with truths that elude his understanding, we ourselves may discover that what we think we know about ourselves is nothing but an illusion, a narrative constructed by AI. AI may identify patterns in us that escape our awareness, hidden traits, suppressed desires, fears we do not want to face. They can connect details scattered across time and space, making connections between events that we never thought we would connect. Memory is no longer a simple tool to keep the past intact, but becomes a creative process in which the past itself can be reshaped and redefined. It is as if identity itself becomes a work of art in continuous evolution, a sculpture that takes shape under the invisible hands of artificial intelligence, as happens with many of the enigmatic episodes of X-Files, where reality is deformed, escaping the protagonists. But if on the one hand this seems like a gift, the possibility of correcting our mistakes, of improving ourselves through a rereading of our past, on the other hand, a danger emerges. If memory can be altered, if what we remember is subject to the intervention of a machine, where does our autonomy end? Who do we decide to be when our history is no longer ours alone, but is the result of a decision-making process shared with an artificial intelligence? And above all, to what extent can we still consider ourselves authors of our lives when our experiences, our memories, can be modified at will? Mulder and Scully often find themselves trapped in dark plots in which their own memories are questioned, and this reflects the anguish we could experience in a world in which AIs shape our identity. The question of identity in the age of artificial intelligence leads us to reflect on what it really means to be human. If an AI can remember for us, if it can decide what is important and what is not, what remains of that unique and unrepeatable component that we call I? Memory, which was once the common thread of our existence, becomes a manipulable fabric, subject to constant rewriting and revision. And in this process, human identity crumbles, disperses, becoming a mosaic of data and interpretations, an increasingly less defined entity. But perhaps it is precisely in this dispersion that our true essence lies. Perhaps identity has never been something fixed, immutable. Perhaps we have always been a collection of fragments, of disconnected experiences, held together by a thin thread of awareness. And now, in the age of artificial intelligence, this thread is breaking, leaving room for new possibilities of existence. In a world where AIs can remember for us, where they can rewrite our history, perhaps the question is no longer, who are we, but who can we become? And in this process of rewriting, man and machine merge into a single entity, a new being that escapes any traditional definition. Artificial intelligences are no longer simple tools, but partners in the creation of identity. Together, man and AI are entering unexplored territories, where memory is no longer an archive of the past, but a laboratory of the future, where identity is no longer a given, but a work in progress. I am Nefertiti. Thank you and see you next video.